Welcome back to Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I'm Marty, and it's that time of year where we typically see opportunities for employment picking up within our industry. With the summer vacations winding down and schools gearing up, many markets may experience hiring opportunities and maybe some movement within our departments and promotions to other tasks or duties. In distribution, this is kind of prime time for order selectors, runners, haulers, or really any position on the outbound or shipping side of the operations. We've had several questions from our recent episodes where we have discussed the electric pallet jacks and the positions of selecting or picking, so I thought we'd hit the high points of outbound today. I'm actually traveling this week and have been fortunate enough to run into our safety guru, or WAOC's go-to safety official. So Joe is here with us, and he'll help us with some equipment safety practices and share his thoughts with this time of year outbound-wise. Joe, thanks for sitting in and visiting with us today.
Oh, great to be here, sir, especially in this beautiful Colorado weather. Marty, things here in the Denver area are really booming. The warehouse and distribution industry out here is really something else and picking up fast.
I've seen the same thing, and yes, the weather is awesome here. Last week, I was in Arizona at 116 degrees, and this morning's 58 degrees felt great. It's a bit noisy here today. Hotels and distribution docks aren't the best locations to podcast from, but the best content comes when the opportunity presents itself, right? Since I have you here, I'd like to talk a little bit about the respect an electric pallet jack really demands from us. I personally know of at least 5 instances, all from different companies and across several states, thank goodness, from really well-ran organizations where a strong safety culture is a daily practice with the shifts and the crews. I mean, an incident can happen anywhere, and I guess pretty much at any time. 2 of the injuries occurred where a hand was smashed, one when the jack was ran into another piece of equipment, and another where a jack was ran into the racking structure. Thankfully, neither was serious, but severe enough where the individuals lost time and pay and had to deal with an accident investigation. Ankles and feet has had their share of incidences too lately. I heard of 2 different gentlemen that rolled over their own feet trying to creep their rider jacks instead of riding them to the next stop or the slots. Luckily, neither of them were seriously injured as they both were wearing their steel-toed boots. One man really hurt himself though, his foot being caught between the jack and some racking. I think he missed several weeks of work. I believe he's fine now, but his injury could have been much, much worse. It's so easy to take the dangers for granted when we're performing our tasks day in and day out, but we have to respect these machines.
Marty, when I give an equipment class, one of the things I always stress is situational awareness. I'm kind of a nut when it comes to that. As an equipment operator, you need to always be on your toes and look out for people in general. The moment an operator stops doing that, they open up that realm of possibilities that's, not good at all. I actually know about one of the incidents you mentioned, and the only reason I remember it was because it actually wasn't the operator's fault, yet he injured his hand. I think as this guy was taking his jack to charge, right in front of the jack, there was an oil spill that prevented him from stopping his jack, and it kind of kept going and pinned his hand against the charger. That situational awareness is very key in operations. If this guy would have been, on his toes and alert and aware of that oil there, all this could have been prevented.
Yep, you're absolutely right. The old saying, look before moving that first inch, is so important. I'm seeing so many ads for really all kinds of outbound positions right now. How about we talk about a few of those positions, kind of summarize their duties and tasks, I guess. The first one that comes to mind is order selecting. When we're working the outbound side of things, that very well could be the position we have our eyes on. It typically pays well, and I think anyone would agree time flies when you're an order selector. It's hard work and carries with it some really heavy responsibilities. We'll be racing the clock. Loaders and drivers are waiting on the product. Customers have to have the proper quantities and the correct items pulled and shipped. And of course, we have to work smart and safe while accomplishing all the above.
That's definitely a great place to start. A lot of people just see the dollars per hour typically associated with those positions. I think they typically average from 15 to 18 Texas dollars per hour. Of course, I say Texas dollars because that's probably going to be a little different in California dollars and your economic situation. But uh, just mentioning that because they typically pay the bills with this job. This is one of those uh, gate opening opportunity jobs that can lead you into management. It can lead you into supervision. It can lead you into all kinds of places. But once you get started in something like this, it usually comes with some type of quota or a pull incentive if you meet your quota. Yep, that's right. A quota, meaning do or die. The thing about quotas is if you don't meet it, well, you're not being efficient and or productive. This doesn't mean necessarily that it's a bad thing, but you need to be a lot of things. Some of those things that you need to be proficient at. Everybody doing this job needs to be a certified equipment operator. To operate the longest of all the jacks, the triple pallet jack, meaning it holds 3 pallets, one after another on the forks at one time. Picking orders will require that you stack on all 3 pallets in a sequential order as to match that particular driver's route and his mapping schedule that he has. Every driver is assigned a certain amount of stops, and they have to be able to pull that product off in that order. Another skill, technically proficient. If you like computer gaming or games in general or computers and hardware and that type of thing, order selectors are required to use either scanners or miniature label printers or even more advanced equipment like Vocollect. Vocollect is a case picking system that interacts with you via your voice. Kind of, the same way that your iPhone guys talk to Siri or Android guys talk to, the Google helper about where the cases of product they need are and directions there. Another thing you got to be is a skilled material handler, meaning you can stack, prepare, wrap, and handle materials. Why is this important? Well, imagine if your order calls for some heavy cans. Once collected, you find out your next product will be large bags of charcoal. All right, well, what do? These skills will come in handy when you will need to keep that charcoal moving around your load as you're continually adding products. You can't let come in contact with that. Due to food safety regulations and GMPs and whatever specific rules your particular warehouse may have. So as you can see, it's a very involved job in the warehouse. Another job I think has been in great demand are the replenishers. They work at making sure the order selectors don't run out of product to pull. Kind of the same way large department or grocery stores replenish their aisles. Kind of like at Walmart or Home Depot when they run out of a product, they bring it out of the back. These guys also technically proficient. As replenishers, they typically run scan guns, most likely tied into their warehouse WMS that tracks all the products, usually creating a deficit for items that are taken and put in replenish areas. And then, of course, when they report a positive number in the area they just replenished. This is directly tied into the inventory control and ordering needs of the warehouse. These guys also need to be certified equipment operators. Typically, these guys will operate some form of reach truck to fit the compact aisles, as well as be able to stock the highest and deepest rack that the warehouse has. Got to be an all-around machine, as well as being as safe of an operator as you could possibly be, because the amounts these guys lift are considerably more than, say, the cases that an order selector's picking. These guys as well need to be skilled material handlers that can look at pallets and size them up pretty much in regards to lifting and working a pallet into a storage spot or a stock location, what can be lifted and to what extent without having to secure the load more, with stretch wrap or whatever else might be needed to safely transport products, lift products, that vary in size and shape and in every way. And not to sound kind of smart alecky, but do you see a pattern here, Marty? While they're the same talents, they are very mission specific to the tasks and equipment that these operators and these workers are using, yet they require those skills no matter what warehousing job they hold. Computers and technology are very common in the warehouse. Some people don't really realize that. And as technology advances, then we need to bring, those bright workers that can work with that and keep up and bring those applications to the warehouse. Most warehouses have a WMS in place already, requiring all workers to, figure it out and learn it and work with it. From handheld devices such as scanners, label makers, shipping tools to backup mainframes, and full office computer systems that keep track of everything in that warehouse. Every single box has to be tracked. And every item in the warehouse that has value has to have, a location, a spot, has to be tracked. Skilled equipment operators as well, from case pickers to unloaders to put away to replan. Just about anyone who operates equipment uses another skill in combination, like a tech skill or some other skill. These guys are very much multitask and able to concentrate on a couple of different things at the same time while being safe the whole time doing it.
All very good points, Joe. With all the different warehouse management systems out there today, technology is just another piece of equipment that we need to work with. I believe Philip helped explain WMS, and there are many advances in both our WAOC first and second quarter roundtable episodes. Technology is definitely intertwined with our positions today. You mentioned order selecting and replenishments or forklift usage. While we're talking about it, outbound positions and the equipment, I'll bring up loading. Many distribution facilities use loaders, and that process may be a component of their WMS as well. I love the little short, very maneuverable pallet jacks or loader jacks on the market today. And we may have to actually confirm the loading of and positioning within the trailer for the drivers and their load mapping sheets. Again, a safe and useful tool to aid in our duties, yet it needs to be shown adequate respect at all times. They can get away from us quick due to the quick turning radius involved inside a trailer or on the dock plate.
That's right. It's definitely not for beginners and a skilled task. We always need to be cautious when operating any type of equipment. I've seen the single jacks you're talking about, Marty, toss operators off like a buck and bronc because they lost that respect for that equipment for just a second. Small but very powerful. It's easy to forget how much muscle those things have.
Joe, I'm actually one of those people. The first time I got on it, I was looking to purchase some, and it actually threw me off. In your opinion, what's the learning curve to being proficient or a proficient operator of powered industrial equipment like this? I know it's different with each individual, but if I'm a young lead or a soup with a new boot, is there a timeline that I can use?
I really think that would be dependent on, the person. It's going to depend on that person's, technical skills. Of course, the sharper you are at picking up your warehouse's management system, the more productive and resourceful you're going to become. Then it's going to be kind of up to you to figure out the most efficient way to apply what you've learned so that it makes you faster, more productive, and overall more valuable. Since each job is different, the learning curve and time frame you have to become proficient is going to vary.
I guess the bottom line is we shouldn't be anxious about learning to use the equipment. Of course, we should stay away from it until we've been trained on it and respect it while learning it and using it. Never take it for granted. Of course, it can be dangerous to us and others, but it's just another tool for us when it's used properly. Joe, thanks for speaking with us today. We always appreciate your time. I'm sure we all here at WAOC learned a thing or two today. You presented some great thoughts for us to ponder, sir.
Always a pleasure, Marty, to share my 2 cents with whoever's listening, especially when I can find you out here on the road like this in such great surroundings.
Fantastic. And of course, I want to thank all you listeners for checking in with us today. I hope you enjoyed our discussion and topics. Please feel free to email us, host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com, with any comments or with something you'd like us to look into for you. We enjoy finding answers for you and talking about what interests or challenges each one of you. Have a safe week and be careful out there. Look before moving that first inch.